It's already
I think
recorded.
you also have to push something back there that's so behind you, maybe not?
No, it looks like it's going just
Oh, no,
fine.
that's all you have to do.
Yeah, and it keeps,
Oh.
I'm watching the camera and it keeps swapping to who's talking.
Oh, okay, because I can
It's working.
see, I mean, Roxanne usually makes us
Technically, you
push
could just
that.
wait till five, not even 5 minutes before I put the thing in there.
Yeah, well, it's recording, so.
So don't say anything real bad.
That's all. Because I know on the Zoom meetings we had before, she had it fixed, so she didn't have to be present, that we could start it
Right.
and we could end it. So I think she may have got this set up too.
Oh, good.
I believe.
Yeah,
That's
probably.
great.
And then at the end, you just, just hit stop. Glare, yeah.
I don't realize how to use this.
The idea of these is that somebody can be here and then somebody can stay at home, you know, if they don't want to come down.
You can't see them though, but they can see you, is that correct?
Say that again?
No, we can.
They can see, you can see them too?
Yeah.
So when they talk, they'll show up on here as well.
When they sign. Yeah.
If there's like no picture or anything, they'll
Mhm.
put a name and you'll,
Yeah.
if they talk, just ask them their name.
It's very sensitive. You get that breathing.
It just-
Just now triggered it.
Funny for me because, I have some of my drivers, right? And so I got drivers that go out, we use tablets now,
Mhm.
for all their delivery stuff. So some of them are just, they're not, they're just not technical. They're just not into the technology. They just, they're used to getting your tickets and making a stop. And now they're on the town. It's the same thing,
Trying to figure it
Make
out.
sure you do this. And they're looking at their tablet like, what am I supposed to do? You're walking them through it, Electronics.
Mm. Are you gonna have a quorum, Mike?
I hope so.
You've got.
We only need one more.
Still got it.
Yeah, we're here.
Oh, yeah.
We're here early too.
Yeah.
I usually always get here early because make sure to
Yeah, that's
follow them.
And Betsy said she was gonna be here in person as well. So-
Yeah, good.
So that would be the fourth.
We should. I think Barbara said she was coming. Carmen will not be coming. I'll explain later.
She's stepping off.
I totally relate to that thought of like, but like I have to ask the question
I
now.
know, right, exactly.
I used to have a rule at my old job a long time ago that I was like, if you would be like, I come to my office, I have to tell you something.
Mhm.
You would have to give me a hint that it was not bad, because I would spend the next 18 minutes being like, am I
You're
getting
just
fired? Am I
nervous.
getting fired? Am I getting fired? Am I getting fired? What do I do? I will panic. Oh, I don't do anxiety well. It's not one of my strong suits.
Here comes somebody right now.
Yeah, it's
25
still
years, I
early.
do the same thing now, but now I'm like, I get fired.
Please.
Yeah, that's right. Please take me out.
Well, now because I'm
So
a
you had a good
photographer.
severance package?
Yeah.
Hello. Hello, how you doing? Good. Here, I guess.
Probably gonna leave them all, so they're there. Yeah.
Everybody's Yeah, let me get rid of that out of the way. No.
If we decided to have one outdoors like we did before at the green, you can't do that. Can't do hybrid.
No, but you can't really move. Yeah, yeah.
I know you can do it, you have to do it well ahead of
But
time.
no, I think if you say we're doing, as long as you announce ahead of time, like
Right.
48 hours, that we're gonna be in person,
I don't see why you couldn't.
agree, yeah. Now, is that gonna be, the other thing used to be, you had, hey, Debbie, it used to be, you changed location. Or was it the time you had to wait a month? I'm not sure how that goes.
Hey, we got Naomi on the line.
And Roberta?
Hey, Naomi.
That's your chair.
You.
Wow.
Do I get the comfortable one?
I get the bill at the end of the night.
Congratulations.
The green way, then, yeah.
I think my favorite part, to be honest with you, was the planes that kept going.
Oh, my gosh. And we decided it was the same plane, kept going back and forth. They were practicing their landings.
Would you say they were training, right, Mike, or something?
The alternates are Jessica, Barbara.
Okay.
You're a regular,
right?
And
Jessica.
No, that was the one, I thought that was only one.
Betsy.
Oh,
It just seemed like that, because it was like,
And I'm the
Because then it was
liaison, so
Eleanor.
I'm not officially a member of
Right.
the committee. Okay.
I just confused about the alternates.
Oh,
I don't know why. I'm easily confused these days. Because isn't there another Jessica? What is she
there's a
doing?
Jessica Cobb who came
is-
and spoke to us
She's not on the
last
committee.
No.
fall. No, she's not.
No,
No, no.
and she was,
She did the invasive
report.
species.
Yeah.
was she at the
Study.
meeting the last time we met? Was she there?
No.
Okay.
No, she was here
Alright, so,
once or twice, but that was last fall when we were at the,
Yes.
My
outside.
Jessica's mixed up.
What's called the Holdings Pavilion.
And then she gave a presentation on Zoom.
We get confused for each other very often.
Do you?
We live
No,
like 4 houses away from each other.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
but you don't look alike.
So I'm sorry I didn't make it to the regatta. I thought I
Yeah,
was
it
going
was
to.
slow going. I got one.
The last minute, my granddaughter graduated that day. I thought I was gonna make it to both, but circumstances out.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't make it.
It's gonna be a year before the vote actually.
We got it covered.
How was it?
What the,
Oh, okay.
It's a
Yeah,
list
yeah,
of all the information, I got a list of information.
Long list of stuff.
Information, comments.
The doctor said it can be 100% weight
It
bearing.
is 6:45. I don't know.
It's
Yeah.
45, okay.
Okay.
Kristen over there?
Agenda and all that stuff.
You
I
were
don't
paying
know.
attention.
Already.
My back is too
No,
tired.
that's all right.
You can share.
It's all right.
Never mind.
6:45, we'll call the meeting to order. We're ready. Roll call. Let's see,
Want me to call him? I got it written down.
yeah, please,
Mike,
present.
me, I'm here. David Holdridge,
Yes, here.
Roberta.
She's here.
Yes.
Hi, Roberta. I didn't recognize you. Barbara? Yes. Betsy?
Here.
Yes. Mary McGrattan?
Here.
Yes. And Jessica Buell?
Here.
Yes. And James Howard.
And Amy Stevenson's also. She's on.
I'm here. Okay. The only one missing is Carmen?
Carmen would be marked absent. I'll explain why.
And we've got Amy Rodriguez on too.
Yeah, Naomi.
Naomi, I'm sorry. Naomi Rodriguez is on too.
Oh. Okay.
You may want to add Counselor Gary Paul. He's here.
Yeah, I am. So the only one on here is Carmen and Roberta?
No, Roberta's.
Roberta's on that.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
The only comment.
Sorry.
Already, well, eventually they're gonna get a television up here, so everybody can see.
That would be
what's on the
helpful.
screen.
Yeah,
Yeah, this
right.
does-
I believe there's one in the other room,
Okay.
but there wasn't one here yet. They haven't got it hooked up yet. Everybody had the opportunity to review the minutes? Was there any corrections, changes, anything? Already,
I would move they be accepted as presented.
already.
I'll second.
Second it, already. All in favor, accept them as written? Aye.
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 Opposed? Already. Correspondence? I have not received any, and I'll be perfectly honest, I forgot to stop by Town Hall, the mailbox, to take a look today. Already. But usually they get sent in the minutes sometimes, but we didn't have any. Any public comments? I see none. All right, informational items. First one is Carmen has decided to resign. She has not informed the mayor's office yet. So when she does, that means there'll be a position open. Generally, what they do, if there's someone who wants to, or two people want to move up, I think generally what they do is they take the person who's
Senior
senior,
person, who's been there the longest,
longest.
Yeah.
So,
like a, almost a courtesy.
right, so that'll be,
That makes sense.
You
Yeah,
know,
so
maybe one of you
then you
two.
would be advertising for
yes,
an alternate.
correct. No, she's not an alternate, she's a member.
So
But
someone will
one
move up.
one of these two would move up.
Oh, yes.
Right.
The
You need to get
alternates-
another alternate.
Alternate will move up, and so the new
Right.
person would be an
Correct.
alternate.
Right,
We can just timeshare the role, since we arrive at the same time, just about.
flip a coin.
It's your week. Your month.
Alrighty, the Greenways presentations down there in Groton, both Gary and myself, we were also there. And so there was quite a few of them. They gave presentations to Tri-Town one, the Groton one, and I guess with some other ones throughout the state,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And yes, US Coast Guard was practicing landings right over our head.
That helped.
Yes.
It was a lovely
Yeah.
ceremony and a lot of people came.
Yep.
I saw
Yep.
pictures.
It was very good.
Yes.
Right, that's the Greenway ones. The Yale Harvard, we set up the booth there. We got a few people to sign up, things of that nature. So that went well. And everything else like that. I was there and Betsy was there and Gary came by and gave me a hand to break down later on. So we went and attended that.
There were quite a few people that just stopped to talk and look
Just
at the
stopped to talk.
maps and stuff, which was really nice.
Look at the maps. A lot of people said they would register online. We had
Yeah.
a few people, all of those registrations one day, I passed them in yesterday to Scott over
Mhm.
at Parks and Rec. Alrighty. I spoke recently with Dennis Main, president of Avalonia. And if I get this wrong, Roberta, you correct me, please. Basically, Avalonia is in the process now of assuming the ownership of the Pike Marshal, which is right currently owned by the Nature Conservatory. So part of the discussions that me and Dennis had was resurrecting the idea, connecting the Burton Trail to the Pike Marshal Trail for that half a mile that goes to the woods. Right, and I was explaining to him how there was a subdivision and the town got another slice of land in there, which means we'll be able to move away from the waterway. It's just that one corner that I think me and Gary surveyed last year. You're gonna need somebody down there who's a real surveyor. You know what I mean, to figure out where the lines are and stuff like that. But he also resurrected the idea of perhaps this could be turned into a cross-country trails for high school. And if it gets to a certain point, they could actually have meets there. So that's what we're looking at.
That would be nice.
You just have to put a bridge like they did at Tri-Town.
Yeah.
What is the purpose of transferring it from one?
I don't know.
I thought Nature Conservancy was trying to divest itself of holding property. That's what I had heard
Of
from
what
Maggie,
property?
of holding properties.
Oh, holding, sorry.
Yeah, just in general,
Yeah.
that's what
Okay,
Maggie Jones had told me one
right.
time. I thought it
Okay,
was
so
her.
does Avalonia want it? Or they
Yes.
just, oh,
Yeah, mine said yes.
oh, okay.
They do. There's been talk about it for a couple of years now.
Oh,
Now it's finally going through.
oh,
I guess there's surveys and there's legal.
oh,
because it
legal
needs to be-
stuff.
So
Okay.
it's gonna take a little bit of a while. It's not gonna happen next week,
Okay.
but they're in the process.
Dennis Main is the president of that, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. Yeah. Yes. He also was speaking with me, because I had conversations with Sally down at Mr. Fairleigh Hunt Club. And she spoke about trying to link with the Tri-Town Trail or link to other trails. So her horses could use those trails. Right? And Dave said not Dave, Dennis had said he had also spoke to about that. So there might be some collaboration there. So you'll actually have the trails come right down from the Lester House all the way down. Now, I don't think, you're not gonna have horses running up that far, but you know what I mean? It's another interconnection of trails, which would extend, the Great Oak Greenway, which would bring you right down to the Groton line. Back there.
Why wouldn't you see horses going that way? Just as a trail rider myself, I'm just curious why you wouldn't see.
Don't know. I think they'd be going up into the Atkinson property. Up to there possibly. That's Avalonia, so they would be the final decider, but you could probably go up into that area.
Avalonia doesn't allow horses?
Yes, because I think there is one section of the Atkinson property that already is allowing it, if I'm not mistaken. We'd have to check with them, but I think there is. So there's just some conversations I have with them, let everybody know that we may be down there slashing brush. Alrighty. That piece of property that I spoke about that would help us connect those trails is not listed on the GIS mapping. It's not listed on the town's list of open spaces. I brought it to the attention of Gary. I found the documents in the town records showing the transfer of that property. It just seems like it might have gotten forgotten.
It's ghost property.
It doesn't have an address. It hasn't anything. So I was speaking with Juliet, the town planner, and I showed her all the documents and stuff. So they're gonna be looking into that. Alrighty.
So where is this
Which
property?
property?
Outback Stables,
Oh, okay.
okay? Basically, on their, would be the eastern side of their property. They
Yeah.
sliced off 3 acres because they put a 2-house subdivision.
Oh,
Alrighty, and that borders that nature conservatory land.
so we want to acquire that.
Yes,
Wait, so
Why-
where,
What street
what are
are
we looking
you?
at?
it's not on the street. It's not on the maps.
Oh,
Well, you
It's
can see the
on Pumpkin
subdivision,
Hill.
you can go to the,
Right.
like 530, what is it, 538?
538, I believe, is, yeah.
138 what?
Bumpkin Hill?
No,
Highway.
Clear Lake Highway.
Oh,
And if you see it, there's the house, and then there's the 2 houses next to it, and it should be right.
Oh, you're talking about Outback, not Leaning Birch, right?
Right.
Oh, okay.
Outback, yeah.
Great farm.
Basically, what they did is they came 75 feet in.
Yep.
Straight line and everything to that side. So basically, that would allow you to create a path that's out of the wetlands.
So
so
is there a chance that the town may own that right now because of the subdivision?
It's possibly, yes, if the town accepted it. I found the documents, but whether the town actually accepted it, I don't know. That's what was tracking down now.
So somehow that's connecting this Burton property with the,
That will create dry
Right.
land, so you'll be able to finish the trail to connect them,
Because it abuts right to the.
right?
okay,
Because it abuts the nature conservatory, the Pike Marshall.
wait, I'm confused.
Mike?
Yep.
There's also that lot that's off of Applewood Drive, which
Mhm.
connects to that property, which the town already owns.
Yes, yes.
Is it this one?
It's not on the GIS, but it has a property sheet. So it's 538R Colonel Ledger Highway,
That
and
should
it's
be it.
marked as the town of Ledger owning it, and
Yeah.
it's 3.3 acres.
That's the one. That's it.
Maybe they updated because I wasn't. on.
Maybe, maybe they.
Yeah, but like if you look at the map on the GIS, it doesn't pull up any
Any-
No,
lot.
you were on the,
But I pulled up the property information sheet
okay.
and it's there.
So there it is. It is. The town does it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just hasn't been updated in the GIS mapping yet. That's all.
Sounds where is it?
So the next step would be to send some hikers down there to actually see where an appropriate path could go through.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. But again, it's an H conservatories. Avalonia is taking it over eventually. So it's not, that part of it is town property. Yes. Yes.
Do you want to wait until what? It's Apollonia before you go there? That's what you're saying.
I would wait till it's Avalonia before you start cutting trails, but to go in
Oh, yeah.
and to say, to survey it or get a rough idea or something. Yeah, it's town property. We can. Right? We could.
Figure out come through, maybe, to connect to the other side.
So I'm lost. If it's town property,
Mhm.
why is you talking about Nature Conservancy transferring it to Avalonia? Or is this a piece of that 3 something acres?
It's a second piece.
It's a second, it's a piece that belongs to the town now.
Okay,
Alrighty, but what it'd be, we would like to see the trail run there, or it could be part of the trail running through that piece that the
Okay.
town owns because it's so close to the wetlands.
okay.
That way, it's like
And how big
75,
is the piece the town owns?
3.3 acres.
Oh, okay. It's suitable for any, like a house or,
It's landlocked.
oh, okay,
It's totally landlocked.
Okay.
Nobody can get in there.
okay.
It connects to Burton.
Then you
Okay.
still have to connect through the Avalonia property to connect it to the other place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you've got the town property that
Yeah.
we just talked about, and then there's another piece that it has to go through.
Burton,
I can do
right?
that.
Them.
Uh-huh.
This is a piece of property that goes like this.
And that's ours.
We have a trail that goes to right here.
Mhm.
Alrighty, this here's the wetlands, right? We would have they have a trail here. It's already, they would have to come up and connect it. So you could use this. There's no saying we are going to. We could, we would have to look at it because what it does is gives us now plenty of room to avoid going through the wetlands.
So where's the
That was
Avalonia property?
The Avalon doesn't have it yet. They
When
require
they
it.
do.
This would be this big one right here.
Oh,
Oh, okay, and that gets us this piece and this piece.
That is when you connect.
That's where
Yes,
you connect, okay.
Yeah, because most of this is all wetland,
Oh, well.
right up through here and even through the Burton property.
So
Okay,
the
yeah, that
Burton
makes sense.
Trail
Yeah.
and Pike Marshall will be no, the Burton Trail and the 3 acres plus would be connected if by Pike Marshall. Is that right?
No, you said it right the first time.
Yeah.
So it's Burton on one side and Peck Marshall on the other.
Marshall, completed trail.
And
And
so
completed trail
that
to
would
connect.
just
In the three
Allow them to-
acres.
We just
in
allow it.
between.
to make a walkable path
Make a walkable path,
And the
that's all.
3 acres would just make it so you don't have to go
in
to
the
the
marsh.
wetlands.
Into the-
Yeah.
Okay,
Right,
it's, okay.
nobody has been back there, we don't even know whether we even need it, because we don't know exactly where the wetlands are back there. See what I mean? It would have to be walked and surveyed and looked at. I'm just saying that this piece has now been discovered, that now we know we have it, so now we can use it in the future if we need. That's all.
When you walked that in the fall, Mike, and you looked at it, you did not go on any part of this 3 acres. You just stayed on what was already Burton. Is that correct?
Correct. Alrighty. What else we got here? You want to say anything about the Long Pond dams?
Oh, I do. Thank you very much. So I'm guessing most people have heard that Cineroston was able to get a $3 million bonding act approved, which is for Leonard Hill area regional infrastructure. That's kind of the term. So it'd be the 3 dams would get upgraded. And by them being upgraded, Deep will then permit the fishway for diadromous fish, especially alewife, to get access into Long Pond. And they already have counted 34 alewife in the fish trap they have just north of the Stonington Ledger Town Line Bridge. So they're pretty excited about that. And then the other thing in that 3 million is also upgrades to the Stonington Town Line Bridge. And then there's a bridge immediately south of Long Pond Dam that in 2010, with all the flooding, it had actually overtopped Lantern Hill Road and washed out the guardrail sides on both sides. And when that got repaired, one of the guardrails supports got pushed into the culvert and is compressing the culvert partly. So that all needs to get repaired, upgraded. So we're very excited about that. It will probably be 2 years before that gets completed because Mayor Allen, so Senator Osteen worked with Mayor Allen and he's taking the money from Connecticut Deep as the municipality. And he's already been in touch with First Selectman Bob Carlson about a memorandum of agreement for Ledger just overseeing the whole project. And also with Stonington for the memorandum of agreement for the Town Line Bridge, which unfortunately had been permitted, but the permit has expired. And I think he said it's going to cost them $25,000 to renew the permit, which sounded like an extraordinary amount of money to me. Stonington and Ledger he's kept money aside that he already had set aside for our part of that bridge upgrade, and they're working on Stonington to also agree to help support that.
Yeah, we had our share. Our
I know we
portion,
did.
And then Stonington said.
They just
they
pulled the
didn't wanna do
plug,
it.
right?
So that's been a couple of years now.
That's because they had no line item for bridge repairs in their budget at all. I was really shocked when I heard that. They do now. They've corrected that. So we're all looking forward to that. I think that'll be great. Alewife are good for the fish in the lake. They make larger trophy fish. They're great for the ocean life. It's a win-win all the way around.
Anything about the discussions you have with the mayor, Fox and Rick?
Oh,
I didn't know you want to talk about it.
oh, no, I'm happy to talk about it because I was going to actually ask if the commission would be willing to write a letter of support. So my husband and I bought a strip of land that's in Ledger. It's on the east side of Lantern Hill Road, so it fronts Bush Pond. It was part of the main estate, and Mabel Stimson is the last, direct living relative of that. It was owned by Cliff Stimson. And so it's one of those long, narrow lots that they had houses on. They have lots that they lease to people that own their houses. And it's where the great big brown cottage that was falling into Bush Pond was located. And so we bought that and we demolished that house. And also there was a house kind of out on a point that didn't look bad from the road, but it actually was much worse than it looked. And we had approached Mayor Allen when we were thinking about purchasing this to see if the town would be interested in making it a small roadside park for car top boats, with the idea that the only good parking is actually on this upper piece up here where the house was on the point, and that maybe put an open pavilion on the point, a small pavilion, just so people could have a little picnic space. And then it kind of the property drops down to where this cottage was next to the water. And that got demolished. These were two garage outbuilding structures. They came down also. And so this comes right out to Bush Pond at that level.
So are those pink things houses or were houses?
They were houses, yeah. So the remaining houses on the lot goes all the way up to the culvert, the town line. This house we actually own, and that's being rented.
Okay.
This house, there's a house here, that's an outbuilding. The person owns the house, so she leases the lot from us. this is going back way back.
Mhm.
That's a house that is owned privately and the lot's leased. And then it goes down to here where it abuts to the McKee Farm Trust property. And this house is the end of our property. And so that house is owned and rented out also. We own the house. And so we rent it out. So these, oops, no, wait, so I'm sorry, it's down this farther. It's off the map, on this map. So this structure, these 4 structures were all demolished. This is a high point, and then the land slopes right down to the water level. And that was our thought, is this would be like a launching beach area.
So you said you bought, what did you buy?
The whole lot, because it's all one lot.
Oh, it's all one lot.
Yeah. So this is leftover from the era of summer cottages and
Okay.
leased land, and like the southern end of Long Pond is all for Long Pond Road South, and it has probably 20 structures on that piece of land. It's 4 acres.
Where's your house? Is your house on?
No, it's not. Our house is over, like over here. Our house is what used to be an old boys camp that was in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, where boys would take the train up from DC and spend the summer learning about camping and fishing and riflery and hiking Lantern Hill. And we've had quite a few people come back over the years that
See it?
to see it and reminisce and just see how it's changed. And it has been very interesting. And then it became a day camp for local people. A lot of people from Mystic went to the Lantern Hill Day Camp. And then in the early 70s, that all stopped. And we were able to actually buy the property from a developer wanted it, but then the town had a zoning regulation that you couldn't you couldn't do a development that close to, it would be the Highland condos. And so that regulation kept this chunk of land, which is about 37 acres, from being developed. It was pretty cool. So Mayor Allen is very on board. I met Scott Johnson at the regatta booth, and he thought, I guess he and Mayor Allen came out. They drove out and looked at it, and he's very excited about it also.
So what do you want? What do you want to do?
Well, what do
you want
I?
what do you want the town to do?
Oh, what did we asked if the town was willing for us to donate this property to them for
That
to be a
piece.
road. Yeah. So it would mean separating that piece out. You know, it's subdividing this unsubdividable lot because it's only 1.9 acres, but you know,
So where did you want the town to buy?
to not buy, we're donating.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so it would be, you know, roughly from here or wherever. I mean,
Yeah.
this is really a pretty narrow strip of land that just kind of drops off. This isn't much use. So, I mean, it was basically giving this point because that's the only real good parking access.
Okay.
And it's high enough off the lake that nobody's gonna really want to go like walking down to it. It's not an easy walk.
Mhm.
And then it slopes on down to this where it becomes level. So it's just, you know, a chunk of
And
land.
They would put the parklet in there?
Yes,
Okay, okay,
that would be,
I
this
see.
whole thing would be the park.
okay.
And it won't be a very big park. I have a video that I did. I can send it to everybody. Just, you know, I stood on Lantern Hill Road and just panned with my phone. But that way you can see what it looks like, or you can drive out there.
As a clarifying question, is it larger or smaller than that tiny little pull-off parking area off Sandy Hollow where you're by the reservoir?
Oh, I don't know what that's, I don't
Okay.
remember what that's
Because
like.
it's
I
like,
don't-
does
Yeah.
everybody else know what
Yeah.
it's like this tiny, you can park like 3 cars there and there's a
There's a
bench.
bench.
No. Oh, wait, no.
Well, there
It's-
was houses there, so I'm like,
Yeah,
it must be larger than
it's
that.
lots bigger. I would say you could easily fit like 6 or 8 cars up in here.
Okay.
And then what we've talked about is just kind of making it obvious that you can't drive down the slope.
Yeah.
You know, so this is a straight pull off Lantern Hill Road. For this property, if you're driving along Lantern Hill Road, you're actually to go down, you have to go down to access any of
Yeah.
that. And none of us want that. That makes no sense.
No.
You know, that should just be like, you know, a grassed area. People bring their boats down, put their boats in the water. Not motorized craft, just, you know, walkable craft.
Kayak.
Kayak canoes, that car top,
Paddleboards.
that'd be, yeah, car top stuff. Would
I
be
love
the
it.
idea. So, yes,
So
Scott
you would
Johnson.
like us to write a letter of support? for
I think
this?
that would be nice. We're meeting with Mayor Allen and Julia Hodge tomorrow. And I guess Scott's on vacation, so that's why Mayor Allen took him out last week. And I think the next step, what I understood from Scott was then he'd have to go to the town council.
Anything to do with zoning?
Well, I'm sure that we had talked to Juliet a couple months ago before while we were getting the demolition
Mhm.
permits and stuff. And so I think that there'll have to be something that makes it happen, because it's not really by town statute a subdividable lot. So,
Just open space.
Well, this whole thing is not subdivided.
no, it's only one,
So-
the whole thing,
Yeah,
the whole
right,
strip
right.
is 1.9 acres.
Okay.
So they're kind of making our property into two separate properties.
Technically, be considered the subdivision.
Right,
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 yeah.
yeah, right,
You're splitting it by saying, hey, we want to take the middle of our land out, give it to you,
yeah,
and then we'll have a property on one side.
right,
and she'll have a property on the other side.
right.
That's what she's trying.
But your home is away from that.
Our home is, yes, our home is on the other side of the lake. Yeah,
Okay.
we're
Okay.
totally remotely.
So are you gonna have to get, like variances or whatever to do that, to subdivide it? Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't,
That would be.
it would
She's
be,
not
through zoning, yeah.
subdividing it. Oh, you're just taking that piece out for the
yeah,
town.
so
Oh,
But that's
technically
technically-
that's
yeah, that's-
subdivided,
yeah,
right,
that's
true. Okay, okay.
right. So
Well, I
I,
would make a motion that we write a letter of support.
We gotta
for
put
the
it on
town.
the agenda.
Oh, it's not on the agenda?
No, it's not on the agenda.
All right.
You
well,
can,
then
you can amend the agenda.
can
to
amend
add
the
it. This
agenda.
is not a
put
special
it under
meeting.
new business.
Yes, we can amend the agenda, put it on the special business. Excuse me, on the new business, yeah.
But I'd kind of like a little more info, like, is it subdividable? I mean, I guess it doesn't matter if we support it or not.
Well, that's what, I
Subdivision.
think that's what she's asking is,
Oh, that'll make it,
well,
Well,
you're just
you're
offering
supporting
support
it.
to say
Okay,
we
so
would
yeah.
support an
Okay.
effort to subdivide it.
okay,
Right.
to get the ball rolling.
And to have the
Okay.
town use that for recreation.
right. I certainly didn't get the feeling from Juliet that when we talked to her that she thought it was not doable.
Mhm.
It just,
So it doesn't
Has-
matter if we support it, it doesn't matter
Right.
which way it goes, we're supporting it.
the concept,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
the concept.
Yeah. It's not like,
Yeah.
we're gonna put up money for it. and
Yeah,
find
yeah,
out-
yeah, yeah.
Find out
Right.
we lost it because they're not gonna do it. You know?
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And the town doesn't have to do anything, expend any funds unless in doing the parklet,
Yeah.
Right, right. Nope, the demolition is all done.
Well, even
It
busy.
was expensive.
All
Price
right,
of
then,
fuel
I,
kept going up.
under new business, I would like to I'd like to amend the agenda on the new business to have a discussion on submitting a letter in, what's the word I'm thinking of? A letter of support, or what would this be called? Lanton Hill,
Lantern Hill area, Lantern Hill Park or Lantern Hill area park or something
Lantern
like
Hill
that.
Graham
area park.
property.
Huh?
The Graham property.
No, we don't want that. Mayor Allen said that and we were like, no, that was not our thought. Our thought was something like,
Well, just, I meant to identify.
To identify.
oh, yeah,
yeah.
you can say
No,
that.
the Graham
Yes,
pro-
that
yeah.
probably would be the best thing.
Okay,
On land. So technically the land is called 600 Lantern Hill Road, so maybe
Oh, the address.
you should say, yeah, that's the address of the lot.
Well, this is just getting it on the agenda. We can
yes,
tweak it when we get to it.
you're right, we get to it, we in a new business.
So while it's still currently your property, are you gonna be weirded out if I go drive by? and check it out?
I wouldn't even know that you drove by. Do you know how many people drive by it every day?
That's a main road,
Just
that's Lanton Hill
saying,
Road.
Oh.
it's, yeah. it's-
But you mean if I pull off and I
Oh,
like get
no,
on and
no,
walk
no,
around?
no, pull off
I
up on this
don't know if you
upper
have trail
part.
cams or something.
No, we don't have anything like that. Are you kidding? No.
I'm gonna
Interestingly,
get my
well,
fishing rod up there before everybody else.
our demolition guy was doing the demolishing. only one person stopped and they said, well, it's about time. I was just like, really? Yeah, it was about time. Please go visit it.
Alrighty,
Wait, so we didn't vote on the motion?
it's gonna be under new business.
Do we
You
vote?
need to amend the, vote to amend the.
Oh, we do?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
We don't have a second yet.
Second.
okay. All in favor?
I-
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, there's a couple more items I'd like to discuss. Is the Conservation Commission's Facebook page and a hike legend page. Is there anybody who would like to keep these up? To maintain them?
I can help do something. I just don't know what I'll put on it. If somebody can,
All right, Amy, which one, would you have a preference as to which one, or?
either, as long as I know if somebody, I'm not sure what to put on it, or if you guys give me exactly what to, or help at least to get it started.
All righty. You want to do the hike legend?
Sure.
All righty. Gary,
will send you the link.
Gary will send you the link to become, I guess, what is administrator?
Great.
So you can put things in it. Take a look at it.
Yep.
Also, we're gonna have everybody find, send you different ideas. Get some good ideas.
Okay.
about Stuff like that. Like one of the things we could have put in was when we were down at the regatta the other day.
Right. Or like
That would
when we
be
meet
something.
up and do like the hikes on certain days or something,
Correct.
or maybe when the library does those or something. Okay.
Yep, it'd just be something like that. Take a look
All right.
at it, kind of get a feel.
All
If
right.
Any more questions, we can take,
That includes Tri-Town, Tri-Town.
yeah, anything with the Tri-Town Trail. Even if you found out that Gosha was opening up another trail or something like that, anything to do with any of the trails in the town. No matter whose they are, like maybe if like Avalonia takes the Nature Conservatory down the road sometime, that would go on there, things like that. Then you could also say, well, I got this little trail here, and it's gonna connect these trails. Things of that
All right.
nature. All righty,
Sounds
David.
good.
Gary will send you the link.
Is that hike legend the Facebook page?
Hike Led's Facebook page, yes.
So is that different from the conservation?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Well, can I look at I'll look at the conservation committee page?
Yes.
Who does that?
Who was doing that before? That was,
I have the administrator, and then right when I got that, I had left, that was,
no, Hillary?
no. No, it wasn't Megan either, it was, I can't think of her name right now.
Julia?
No, it wasn't. Julie.
No.
Right.
Yeah, she went to the aquarium.
You know everything about her, but.
Sorry. Anyway, I have I
Okay,
just need to be made administrator.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
All
So
right.
what do you put on that? It can't be same stuff.
Or when-
Similar stuff,
Yeah.
like,
When we have meetings, right? I mean, can you announce the meetings and stuff?
you could just announce the meetings and
Yeah.
the public invited, you could announce the fact that you just got the dams, the
Yeah.
money for the dams.
Yeah, yeah.
And explain how, the herring are gonna come up, et cetera,
Mhm.
and just anything to
Those
do with
kinds- yeah,
conservation
okay.
projects. And anything happen in those, let's say in a news article or something you run across online that
Right.
you think is conservation
Related.
related,
Yeah.
kind of related to us, I mean, you're not gonna publish anything about prairie wildflowers in Oklahoma and stuff like that, but you know what I mean. Yeah, but you could.
You could, that's right, that's right.
you
We
know.
can, link to stories that have been in other places. Like, didn't the day do a story on when the planes were flying over you guys? The dedication you went to? I think there was a picture.
Could have
Oh,
done
yeah.
the no mo May
Yeah,
story
yeah, No Mo May,
that we
yeah.
were in.
Yeah.
And actually, we had a person that is a hobby beekeeper come out to our place to see if he could put a couple hives out in our property. Which would be, that's conservation.
Yes.
That would be
Yes,
cool.
it
Yeah.
is. Yes, it is. See?
Yeah.
So now that we got the discussion going and our minds are
Yeah, right.
moving, we come up with all kinds of ideas.
That's right.
Maybe we can add an item on the agenda that at the end, we throw ideas around
Oh,
for
that's a good-
possible
yeah.
Facebook posts for both pages, just to get. stuff
That's a
out.
good
We,
idea.
yeah, we could just have an informational item.
Yeah,
because
Right.
on the informational
That's what I
items,
mean.
it's also,
Yeah.
it's also, any comments that any of the, members of the commission have,
Yep.
have or ideas and stuff like that.
Okay.
Alrighty. All right, property walks.
So we walked Whitehall
I
on Saturday. And apparently somebody mowed it like Wednesday or Thursday, the guy came out and mowed it. So all the part that has grass looks really good. There are a bunch of little things coming over that we could just go and clip off really easy. So that's looking pretty good. The part that he couldn't mow, the white section up on top and that little bit of the yellow, needs a little bit of work.
Yep.
It's pretty, pretty tall, but the part that's grassy looks really nice.
Alrighty, because we'll be addressing that in a few minutes here too. Alrighty, any others? None? Alrighty. Whitehall needs some work, always.
Yeah.
Open Spaces Acquisition Plan. Like I said, I brought it out, another draft. I guess I sent everybody the changes I made, but also what it is in the agenda minutes. There's also a copy of it
Mhm.
completed. Has anybody had an opportunity to look at it? Any
Yeah,
more
I-
suggestions? Yeah,
I
Dave?
I like your idea about trying to connect the glacial park.
Yeah, with the,
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And
Helpful.
it looks to me, you're looking at the map, that there's two properties in between, is that right?
Mhm.
There is the way the Tri-Town Trail approached this was to talk to the landowners, see if they would be amenable to having a conservation easement, a trail
Right.
easement across their properties.
One of
And
them,
then,
yep.
and then you can talk to them about the fact that they can get a tax break, property tax break for doing that. And then what has to happen then is that it's worked into a proposal that it's approved by the town council. And then that proposal has to be signed by the landowner and the mayor.
Right. Is it my understanding that the conservation easements can only be granted if it's along what the town has set aside as greenways? I'm not talking about the state's greenways. I'm talking about the old map that we have from 2008 that shows the arrows going everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, there is,
Yeah, I think the ordinance says that it has to be a trail that's townwide, a significant trail. You can't just invent your own trail. It has to be something that the town has already recognized as a trail. Or an appropriate place for a trail.
right,
And so we, as a conservation commission, could say, there is a place, this trail could go right through there. And,
we can redraw the arrows.
yeah,
connect A and B.
and
Okay.
once we do that, then they would qualify to apply for a tax break.
And the conservation easement is permanent to that property,
Yes,
no matter if it gets transferred to somebody else, sold off, that kind
Right.
of stuff.
Yeah.
It can't be revoked.
Mhm.
Okay.
Who writes up the proposal?
Well, we could do that, or anyone could. But,
Sharon did ours, didn't
yeah, we had a consultant who worked on the Tri-Town Trail who wrote this up. And we
So that would be like the conservation would kind of come up with that.
come up with that. You come up with a proposal as to what the work, the value of the property is. And also how much of a tax break you get annually. And this would be all part of the proposal that would have to be approved by the town council.
Would that easement have to be surveyed?
Yeah, it would be-
So
it would at least be mapped.
Okay.
Well, we did keep moving ours because it was going through wetlands
Yeah,
up the side of the hill. Turned out it was wet.
Well, that was kind of my question. So
Yeah.
that, what kind of, so what kind of cost goes into doing something like that? Like, so you have to get surveyed and figure out what piece of land, right? Because that easement has to show, correct, on the
Mhm.
map.
Oh, yeah.
So there's got to be some type of a cost.
there would be some costs.
Would that be done by the open trails or I mean, open space farm? Or how would you?
I'm not familiar with the process.
Well,
I've never done it.
didn't you get some easements already, one or two on the property?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
we have two
Tri-Town
easements.
Trail did get easements. from-
Was that part of our original, the money we got the grant money for?
Yeah,
And we
we-
used some
we
of
had
that
some-
grant money
We had some
to,
grant money.
it was all part of the creating the trail. We needed those easements, so Ken
Okay,
Frost went out and said, this is where we want the trail to go, and it's going through this much of their property. And I said, then we kept moving it, because it was wet
okay,
there.
so that must go on their land records too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's got-
Oh, yeah.
So it's really a 3 or 4 step process. You have to first see if the property owner is even interested
Yeah,
in doing this.
yeah.
Well, you have to tell them what they're gonna get.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then you,
tax
That
abatement
carrot,
to
right?
make it, see if they're interested.
Mhm.
Right, well, that's why I just, I guess my question is, you probably want to find out, what would it entail to do that, right? And all that, and figure out what the cost associated would be and where that would come from. And then, right, and then you would, say, once you have that, and then you do it, then you.
And the assessor has to be involved to say what the right property value is. And everything. So it's a several step process, but it can be done.
Does the ordinance say it also has to be a certain amount of acreage? 5 acres?
No,
No?
the ordinance doesn't say a particular amount of acreage. It just says, if you have an access across the property, it's a conservation easement.
Is any of the town's open space funding available for the fees that might be involved in getting an easement?
See, that's the question I asked at the last meeting. Is open space money just for acquisition or is it for other things as well? I don't know that we have a definitive answer on that.
No, I've also got that written down here also, so we can discuss all of that stuff together. I read the ordinance said acquisition,
Yeah,
did not say maintenance or anything, it says acquisition.
Yeah.
I'm not a lawyer, but to read it, that's, you know what I mean?
So acquisition would mean the town would then own it versus a conservation easement where the town is just using it.
Well, but it's kind of,
acquiring is an easement. You can acquire an easement. That's
Yes.
acquisition.
I don't think the town owns it. I think they just have the right of way across it.
right.
Right, it's an easement, they've acquired an easement,
Like a utility easement.
yes. It's like utilities, right, utility easement, anything like that. Also, when you look at different methods to acquire open spaces, they talk about, purchasing, donations, easements. That's all considered under the heading of acquiring. Easements is considered under it. At least it is in our plan of conservation and development. That's what it's written as. So getting back to the open spaces acquisition plan, has everybody looked at it? What do they think? They think it needs more tweaking? It needs anything else?
I have a suggestion.
Yep.
In all your targeted goals, what,
No, that's an entirely different plan now.
oh wait, ledgered open spaces acquisition plan? Is this it?
Yeah. Then what's the other one?
This is targeted goals.
Oh, targeted goals, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm just looking under
Okay,
the
okay.
section.
And then the 7 or 6 or 7 of them
Right,
I have.
Yeah,
here.
yeah. So, I mean, as I was reading it, I didn't really know a lot about it, so I learned a lot, but I would move like the last paragraph up as the first paragraph, because that says what you want to do. And then the rest of it kind of explains it. Because you kind of, I mean, to me, as I was reading it, and you don't have to listen to me, I'm just telling you as I was reading it. I read all this and I'm like, okay, well, what are we gonna do? And then the last paragraph says, oh, okay, we want to work with the town of Groton utilities to protect the water sources. So
okay.
I would put that like underwater resource.
If it fits.
protection. Yeah, no, you just move I would just
Or I
move the
just
whole
move the whole
paragraph.
paragraph.
That's what I would do.
Well, you can't move a paragraph back because it won't fit, so it's gotta come forward.
What do you mean?
It's just how he's formatted it.
It's just how it's formatted.
Oh, I mean, you don't have to do this. It read fine. I know you've done a lot of work on it. I'm just telling you when I read it. So
I'll look
take
at
it with a grain of salt. It's
I'll
all
look at
fine. I'm not married to it or anything. But I just, like, the first one was, I don't know, that's what I would do. The second couple of them are okay. And then the tri-town.
Reworking the whole thing.
No, I was just moving one paragraph. I was just moving the last paragraph above. Just because the way you have it written, it sort of seemed backwards to me, but,
It's fractured.
well, what you want to
You
do
have an
is at
idea
the
or a
end.
concept and all of a sudden you get interrupted.
Well, yeah, you're reading about the history, which is, I mean, it's all good stuff. You're reading all the history and blah, blah, blah. And then the last paragraph says what you want to do. So I would start with what you want to do and then go with all the background stuff.
Okay, so if it has to be formatted and the rest of it onto the other page, it's just, yeah, okay.
I mean, if you can't format it, I get it.
But it's almost like you can pick up the last paragraph and move it up and move the second paragraph to the next page.
I don't know, yeah, I mean,
It
that's,
should be all set. It looks like you've got plenty of room. on the page
oh,
to
because
do
this is
that.
all, oh,
Yeah, see, that's the.
ew. Gotcha.
So I'm gonna interject another thought in that's section about water resource protection,
Mhm.
First one.
which would be maybe make it more expansive. So it also incorporates the Whitford Brook watershed, which starts in Ledger. Well, it starts actually in North Stonington. It comes down from Lantern Hill, but the whole Cider Hill is part of, one side it goes into Long Pond and Bush Pond. The other side goes into Williams Brook, which swings on around and comes out into Whitford Brook and goes to the Mystic River. And then Long Island. And I'm happy to help work
No, it's all
on the
right.
language with that.
Okay.
But I think focusing just on narrowing our focus to just Groton utilities is narrowing, that's,
Right.
not looking at the whole of Ledger.
Yes, you could just add another sentence or something, right? Just to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're making your life miserable. I know.
And then it turns into
He's a
another
good
whole
sport.
page.
Yeah, it does.
It's gonna be a final document someday.
Right. Someday.
That's right.
It'll be a legacy. All right, okay.
And then Mike says, I retire.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, no, we can do that. Okay, it's no problem. You think there's anything else we could possibly do for it? Any other things we
Well,
need
kind
to-
of along the same lines, the Tri-Town Trail one. I thought the last paragraph was, an east-west connect from Tri-Town Trail to the Quantico Preserve would be desirable. I mean, that's sort of what that's all about, right? So I would just move that sentence up
Were you
and
an
then
English
go-
teacher?
as a reporter, so.
Bottom line up front.
Yeah, you got the inverted pyramid the wrong way. Because really, that's.
I could also give somebody
to
a
me.
copy who could copyright
I will do that.
a copy. Once we get it all cleaned up. I mean, set the way we want to, yes.
Yeah.
If you want to do
I would
something like
have,
that.
I would.
And,
have-
improve the, the context and everything else like that.
I mean, there's like so much
Pronunciation,
information here.
yeah.
It's like chock full of good stuff.
Yeah.
And then,
But yeah, so we come up with a final,
yeah, so
you know.
one of them was fine.
one out of 20.
No. Well, as they
Okay.
say in my business, you buried the lead, so that's what.
Okay. No,
There you
no,
go.
that's fine, that's fine.
So I will help you. I will help you do whatever.
Okay,
Okay, yeah.
okay, well, we finally narrowed it all
You're
down, and
hired.
stuff like that. That's no problem. Also, with the, once we get it finished there and everything else like that, even in general.
Mhm.
Like you were talking about acquiring right of ways and things of this nature already. It's a lot of work to get one done. It's a lot of work to try to connect these different things. I was thinking if there are people who would want to take a certain project. In other words, if someone wanted to work on the properties that would link, let's say, Kettle Hole and Glacier. If there was somebody else who wanted to continue to work with the Tri-Town Trails, you know what I mean? Rather than have one person doing all of it, you know what I mean? Or if there's somebody else who wants to work in around Cider Hill because of that project, you see that might be coming down the pike, somebody who concentrate in that area. You see what I mean? I was thinking of something of that nature.
Could we start out with a list of those kinds of
Yeah.
And then we'll.
areas that could be separate? And then everybody could look at it and say, well, this one might actually interest me. You know, if they were
Right.
all,
Yes. If at next meeting you all came back and said, I would be interested in this, I'd be interested in that, I'd be interested in that. And then maybe we can start to begin to organize some things.
It's a good idea.
You know what I mean?
You're referring to actually working to map out the connections? The actual work or the?
No, what it would be, it'd be, like he says, you have to contact the
Hmm.
property owners.
Right.
You would have to look at different connections. You'd have to begin to justify why, you know what I mean? And start to build up a case so you can start. You two have already done it. You see what I mean? You know what I mean? None of the rest of us have ever done anything like this. Would not know where to begin with. So you can speak with each other
Yeah.
and they can tell you, hey, number one, this is what you need to do first. Number two, this is what you need to do second.
It's not that easy.
No, it's-
Our property owners were not that cooperative. It
No.
took us years
Took
to.
years.
Yes.
I mean, we brought them flowers and we did.
Oh, wow.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Like there's one of them up there by
we
Glacier.
finally got through, yeah. What
I
was
haven't
it
been on the
that- I
land,
don't
but I've
know,
looked at
we just beat
topographical
them down,
maps.
they
And
got
it might
tired
be
of
something unbuildable,
knocking and nailing
It's all
the
lit.
mayor with
Yeah.
the
which would be perfect for
Perfect for
Glacier.
us, yeah.
But to build on,
Wow.
Yeah, it's done.
you see what I mean? So this is what I mean, start to investigate different avenues and come up with different ideas.
I-
Glacier.
I called everybody on Cider Hill and got turned down by everybody. Just, yeah, I've already, I'm still trying.
Just for
And
the
what
record,
did
that's
you
why I
ask
think Glacier
them?
and Kettle Hole is like a good.
Well,
a
my
better
husband and I
start,
wanted to donate
because
about
those lands, I
25
think
acres of
one's
our
an-
land to
they're both-
Avalonia.
well, one's an
Avalonia
LLC.
said it's not large enough
And one is a.
and they were
and
looking
one
for more
is
land
Charles, right,
before
which
they'd entertain
they just
ours.
were
So I
keeping
just
that
called and
open
said,
anyway.
In other words,
Wait,
So-
who's talking?
So that might actually be a go.
Right, so that, I mean, for me, when I looked at, when I saw that, I said, that might be your most easiest target, because there's nothing going on there, and there's, and like Mike just said, that one property that Pratchell's is just, I mean, it's just boulders.
Mhm.
You're not moving that, so. Good place to get your feet wet.
Yeah.
Already,
Literally, right?
already. So that's what will come with some ideas next meeting.
Can we go back to
Sure.
the
Yeah,
25 acres? Yeah, that's interesting. So you wanted to donate that to Avalonia,
right,
and they didn't want it because it was too small.
right.
So they wanted you to try to gather some more property to make
right.
it larger.
Right.
Now, this other property would it connect?
It actually abuts our property and
okay.
it's got 2 wetland areas in it. And one is actually a stream that runs year round down into Long Pond. They want to sell it to a developer. They've told me that. I'm sure.
So how
it's-
much acres did
It's
they?
47 acres.
So 25 and 47, Avalonia would consider taking that.
I think they'd be more inclined to. My understanding is that they're pretty stretched thin. That's the impression I have.
Oh, right, okay.
And, volunteerism seems to be, really at an
An
all-time low.
endangered species.
Yeah, right, there you go.
Right.
And so that's a struggle for
Okay,
them.
so
taking more
47
land.
acres, they wanted to sell it to a developer.
Yeah, they
And
would
in
like
the-
to.
In the 47 acres, they probably could find some.
Whoa, it'd be a tough stretch because the wetlands run east-west. So they're at the top of the hill coming down, feeding down toward Long Pond. And that splits the land into thirds or more than
Okay,
thirds,
okay.
because there's one here, that there's an access, there's the big wetland with the stream that runs you around. And then there's another stretch of land, but it's all rocky on a hillside. I mean, I know why it's never been bought up.
Okay, okay.
But, huh?
Not suitable for development.
Yeah. And I don't, when I was talking, I'm totally new at this. And so I was just saying, we are donating our land, and I'm sure they were thinking I was asking them to donate their land. But there was a grant recently that came from National Fish and Wildlife Fund for New England forests and rivers. And land acquisition was listed as a thing in there. So I was like, oh, maybe. But
Did Avalonia say, obviously they said 25 acres is not large enough. Did they say they had like a specified
no,
cutoff? Okay.
that wasn't. a
Like it needs to be 32,
Yeah,
like 26 at least, and like,
There was a lot of concern about kind of managing it. The property that we had 10 acres, roughly 10 acres is what we cut for New England cottontail habitat restoration. And so they were kind of like, do we have to manage this? And Avalonia has other properties that nobody does anything with. They exist because, they serve a function. And so clear cut does serve a function. It's, a new forest coming up. And so that's great for ground nesting birds and all of those things. And that it was just bad timing, I think. But I will take that committee since I live there.
Yeah, it's just the ideas. Come back
Yeah.
with it.
Related to, I don't know if I can bring this up now, but related to this is that the press release came out from the governor announcing open space and grant awards, and saying that there's applications are now available for open space and watershed land acquisition grant program due on September 30th, 2022.
Huh. Who's funding that?
The state.
Oh, and that sounds entirely different from what I had seen from the National Fish and Wildlife, which that
Yeah.
was due this month, that grant application.
And so what they're targeting, apparently the state is targeting, and it fits right into our role in conservation
Right.
and acquisition of connecting properties. And the Tri-Town Trail is looking at a piece of land that would be in the greenway that would help us connect. And also that piece of land is part of the Groton Utilities watershed. There- We could propose that, say, let's together acquire this piece of property. Groton Utilities and
Right.
Town of Ledger.
In fact, on trail.
Yeah, and it connects the greenway. It also protects your watershed. Groton Utilities.
I think that from my conversation with Rick Stevens, that they would be very receptive to something that moves the trail slightly away from the reservoirs.
I know.
And you're saying wetlands, so is that right?
No,
buddy?
it's not wetlands. This is
Oh,
farmland.
watershed, yeah.
Watershed.
Farmland, it's in the watershed.
But it's away from, it's not right on the reservoir. It's not using one of the reservoir roads, is it?
No,
Okay,
but.
No, it's not part of the
but
reservoir right
that
now.
doesn't- That
Yeah,
doesn't
somebody
solve the
else's
problem
property.
Rick Stevens is talking about, but
well, I think, it kind of, the way he talked, it sort of sounded like they were softening that position a little bit. Now he's retiring.
well, that's good. He's our biggest pain in the-
Or he
The
may be
meeting is
retired
recorded.
now, so I don't.
Be careful what you wish for.
And
Yeah,
that
he was
closes
in
in
the
September of what, 22, 23?
22.
22, all right.
So where did you get the,
This was a
Press
press
release.
release that came out from
Yeah.
the governor.
okay,
It said the applications
How much
Now
was it for? It
available
was for quite a
open
bit of
space and
money.
watershed land acquisition. It would seem that if you can do two things at once, like fill in the greenway and also protect the watershed,
Sure.
that would be a slam dunk.
Doesn't seem like very much time.
No,
Who has
Well,
grant
you would have-
writing experience?
we would have
That's
to,
another
we would have to
question.
say to Groton Utilities, hey, what about this? Would you go along with us on this?
Well, then they'll take it.
Well,
No,
we would say, you gotta have a trail across.
no, there
Right.
are parts of Great Oak.
Oh.
Atkinson property that I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Groton Utilities did contribute some funds for it, so.
Yeah, they're amenable to this kind of stuff.
And that would be connecting
Yeah,
You have a
the
piece of
Tri-Town
property
Trails.
in
Tri-Town
mind.
Trail comes down from where the Clark Farm is
right.
and down towards Stars Wharf Road. That property is there on Stars Wharf Road.
Okay. All right, yeah. Well, that's like I say, we were discussing these earlier. We were
Yeah.
looking at different people who would be interested in certain projects.
Yeah.
Go for it.
I'll go. for it.
We won't have to wait till next week.
We're already
seriously.
working on
No,
it.
start thinking about it, working on it. Yeah, we can, we could start. I wouldn't know where to start.
I could come up with some specifics
Yeah.
for next meeting.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah. We'll figure it out. Exactly what we're trying to pull together.
What's the date? September 30th?
So it's.
So what are we doing about the acquisition plan? Just continue working on it?
Yes, I'll
For the-
continue to update it. For the suggestions that were made this evening. Except for the last paragraph, that'll be the copywriter. Clean that up. Alrighty. Okay. The open spaces management plan. That was one we drew up for Glacier. I added a few more things to it, which is basically trying to connect it with the kettle. Now, Roberta had sent me a thing that property inspections already. It's basically a list of different things you would do to do a property. I'm going to make up a separate property inspection kind of statement versus adding it to every single one of our properties. And besides, a lot of it has to do more with a land trust than a town conservation commission. So I just want to say that Roberta did send that to me and I'm looking at it over and try to work out something with it. Financial report.
Well, I thought this was really good.
What?
The plan.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't see.
The reporter approves.
You didn't?
No, it
Except
looked
there's this
good.
one
No, it
word.
looked
There's
good.
this one word.
Well, I
there
mean,
on
there
the
might have been a
third
few
page.
words, but I thought it looked really good. No, it was good.
Then if possible, we could vote on it to see,
Mhm.
make an amendment.
Hey.
to expand.
Make her
Yes.
put it in minutes, Mike, that she likes it.
No, I'm not putting it.
All right, then if everyone's read it and they don't have any other,
Yeah.
suggestions, ideas, corrections, or anything of that nature,
Mhm.
then yes, we could. I would make a motion that we accept the Glacier Park maintenance plan as it's currently written,
Maintenance or management?
management.
That has the potential to connect with.
Yes, I included that. in
Yeah.
there. Yes. So is any more discussions on it?
I have a discussion. Is it Glacial Park or
Glacial.
L? Okay. I'll second it. If
All right,
someone
you
needs-
seconded it. All in favor of accepting as is?
Right?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the motion carries. Now I can start beginning on one for Whitehall. This was like the test run, first case kind of draft to see what we wanted to try to encompass. Then from there, we can start to move on to the other ones. Financial support, report. The figures haven't changed, have they? Roberta?
No.
Alrighty, in that case, rather than go through everything and discussing it all over again, we just move on to the next item if that's with everybody. Okay,
Mike, before you do that,
Yeah.
I wondered what's going on with the equipment we ordered, and is there a way that we can do something to get that equipment, even though the supply chain is a problem? Do we just have to wait for them to get to us?
That's the next item.
that's the next item on here,
Okay,
and I have the explanation here. They called me this week or last week it was, and they had 2 pieces out of the 3 there. Alrighty, basically what they do is they have the power head, that's with the engine,
Mhm.
and one of the attachments, it's the scythe that does, let's say, the tall grass and the brush.
Yeah.
Alrighty, those ones are here. I picked them up
Oh, good.
already. I haven't tried them out yet or anything like that. That's why you said stuff at Whitehall.
Yeah, that would be
That'd be a
perfect.
good place to.
So what's the
practice.
third piece? Is that? the
Third
one that
piece
does
is the,
rotor?
is the one with the blades
Right,
for cutting
okay.
small saplings,
Mhm.
small
Okay.
shrubs and stuff like that. They're still waiting for that. What it did is he gave me a receipt showing that I've taken 2 of the pieces of equipment. I'm waiting for the third. When the third arrives and I pick it up, he will then submit the bill to the town.
That's nice.
So we can use it in the meantime?
Yeah.
Good.
Yep.
Perfect.
Just
Make
don't
sure it
break it.
works.
Don't break it before you. All right.
did
well,
we resolve where it would be housed?
Yeah, my garage. That's where it's sitting right now.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
No, I
No,
just,
we had a discussion on where it would reside, and I just didn't know if we actually made a decision on that.
I know that in the past, we had talked about buying a little small portable storage unit. We talked about putting it up with
Public Works.
Public Works. But then we
it will
said,
disappear, or
Then you've got to have keys, and then you've got to have, a locks, and
They
then,
could borrow it.
and I didn't say
Permanently?
anything like that. But you see what I'm trying to say? And I think we discussed this a while back, and we just decided just for the time being, we just keep it in somebody's garage, and my garage is always unlocked.
Good to know.
Let's get in there.
So this is a gas engine, right?
It's gasoline. Because sometimes we go down so far down the trails and we run out of
Right. yeah.
battery, and the battery, to buy a second battery, you might as well buy a second piece of equipment. They're almost the same.
So expensive.
So I decided to go with gasoline before the prices went up.
So you're gonna use the gas without the ethanol in it for it, right?
Just the 10%.
You just use the regular
You
standard.
just use regular standard gasoline, but you can't be any more than 10%.
Okay.
And you should, I've always for power equipment bought the high test.
Yeah.
You should buy it, you should use at least the medium grade
Mhm.
for any power equipment, lawnmowers. But I've always, for my equipment and down where I used to work, we always purchased high test. Not in the truck,
No, that's right. not the truck.
but for the power tools. And I already have, the oil, the mix with stuff like that.
2 cyclones.
Yep. All righty, we already went over the Glacier Park maintenance plan. All righty. New business, the open spaces fund discussion. Alrighty, Dave, we wanted to discuss it. I read, like I said, the open spaces, the ordinance for it that I found, it said it's for acquisition only,
Well, that's, I agree with that,
right?
and I hope that others do too. Because I've heard people say, oh, just use the open space fund for this and that. And I don't know, it's only for acquisition.
That's what the ordinance says. So I would be under the belief now. If we want to go to somebody else and get more clarification, we can, but that's my belief.
How old is the ordinance?
I don't know. It's,
Although they were all
It
updated
was-
They were all
recently.
I
updated.
drafted the original one when I was on town council. That
Oh.
was-
yeah.
That's a-
that was,
Yeah, I'm wondering though, they were all recent, last year or 2 years ago, all updated,
Yes.
numbered. I don't know, I don't remember that one, that we did anything to it.
well, Maybe it's just.
Could be just as is.
Yeah.
And then usually if you want any background, Roxanne pretty much knows
Yes.
what the thinking is behind.
Right. Any other ideas or questions you had about it?
No,
No, okay. All right, so that's what I did, is I went and I investigated, and you did too, and that seems to be what our conclusion is. Alrighty, the next topic of discussion would be the drafting a letter in support of the grant donation.
yes, I make a motion that we draft a letter of support for 600 Lantern Hill Road being acquired by the town of Ledger for park purposes.
Do you want to say the whole?
Not the whole. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
I don't know how you, so this property, all these buildings have their own number. You could say 596 to 602 lots. I don't know how you would,
You say, but you said it's already, you already said it's already one lot.
well, the land is all one number. But
Right.
then every building on it has a separate number.
That's an address,
Yeah, why don't you just
but
say
that does not.
Portion
a
of.
portion of,
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
that's-
a
yeah,
portion
right.
of 600.
I go home and my husband would say, you did what?
Yeah.
Yeah, you totally give the whole thing
Yeah.
away.
We can always define the portion later.
I believe on the town's maps, the GIS, that's listed one lot. They
Right,
may have different, just like you could have an apartment building that's on a piece of property, but each apartment's got a different number.
Yeah, but it's one lot.
Well, it's not like we're writing a deed, we're just writing a
No.
letter. of support.
That's
there
right.
you go. It's the Graham's proposed land for a town park.
Yeah,
Would that be worth
yeah.
adding in?
Don't you think having the address? You need the address.
Portion of 600.
Yeah,
Portion of
portion of
600,
yeah.
600.
So a
Lantern
draft
Hill Road.
letter of support,
Portion
a
of
portion of
owned
six
by,
hundred Lantern Hill Road, owned by the Grants,
yeah,
That's good. That'll do.
should be acquired by. Oh, we're drafting support,
Drafting a
being
support.
acquired by the town for park purposes.
For
Yeah.
recreation purposes.
Parsons.
Recreate, yep.
Recreation. Public recreation.
Is there any further discussion on it?
We didn't have a second.
No, we're
Oh,
supposed to have
sorry.
discussion first. Before we,
So just a question, and obviously this is like a way cart before the horse question. When the property potentially would be owned by the town, would it be like conservation or would it be Parks and Rec property?
I had the impression Parks and Rec.
Okay, just making sure. I was like, are we also going to have to maintain it? Like, how does that?
Well,
work?
town council would make that decision
Yeah.
as to whose jurisdiction. it's
Right.
gonna be in.
I would assume it would be Parks and Rec, yeah.
Okay.
Just like the ball fields and everything else around. here.
Because- We don't, conservation doesn't maintain any parks.
No, we do not.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
Trail.
And,
Okay.
and this was
right.
structured to be a
Park,
Park.
use park, yeah.
Okay, cool.
So,
Just wanted to make sure.
yeah, well,
It's like the one that's up in,
And Scott's in
Heights.
favor, Scott Johnson.
he was
Yeah.
very
Oh, yeah,
much in
he's very
favor.
much
He
in
thought it
favor.
was a great idea.
Okay.
So I was glad that he got a chance to look at it.
it's like the one that- up in Elgin Heights, it's on Pocatonic Cove.
Okay.
That's a project we did years ago. And that's a boat landing too for car tops and stuff.
Mhm.
And again, parks, we cleared out all the brush and the invasives and planted all native shrubs, but that's Parks and Rec to maintain. Everybody in favor of sending a letter of support then?
We don't have a second.
Somebody to second it, please?
Oh, I
I'll
mean,
second it.
Amy seconded it.
Oh, Amy, I'm sorry. Just heard a voice from over there.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye, any? opposed? Okay, motion carries.
He abstained because it was my property.
Okay.
Very smart, smart.
Yeah,
Very, very good, thank you.
Now we have to get someone to actually draft the letter.
The reporter.
Yeah.
I don't regret
Reporter
those
can.
words. Say, "Was it
No,
reporter?"
I'm not gonna be good.
Did you say the meeting was tomorrow?
Yes, we're meeting
So
with,
do we need the letter by that?
no,
No.
I don't think so, because we're just, it's
Right.
us meeting with Julia Hodge, the mayor.
The letter would be
Just-
directed to the mayors. I would imagine, yes.
I would, yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
imagine.
Do you want me to draft it?
Sure, that's fine.
I think I need a little more info.
Well, I think after tomorrow's meeting, you could feed her.
Feed her.
Okay,
and
that
then
sounds good,
Yeah.
sure.
You might come up with actually a name.
Yeah,
and-
yeah, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
and
okay.
Yeah.
It'll be. in
That's a
Because
there.
right
great
now,
idea.
really, all I have is the motion.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
right, no,
right.
she will,
Yeah.
you'll have
Yeah.
more information, so
I have,
she
yeah,
could
I
really
hope so. That's nice.
embellish that letter.
Yeah.
All right, this is not new business, but it's somebody asked me, I think, last month, and I forgot to say it earlier. When they looked on the town's website, Conservation Commission, conservation projects, they were looking at this Pocatonic Cove project, and they said they don't get anything. I've looked at it too. I believe that they were on another server. And I believe they're on the Eastern Connecticut Conservation District.
Oh, huh.
We partnered with them to do the project.
So you can't access their server from our website?
No, I think, I'm gonna take a wild guess and say it's similar to the problem, not the problem, but the discussion we had before, where our hike legend maps are carried on somebody else's server. And they pay a certain fee every single year. Well, they were asking if we could take it back because they want the space. And I directed them to Julie or somebody over here. And anyways, we still have it. So I suspect it was on that other server, and they maybe have, because the project's so old. Basically, all it was, I can tell you what it was a letter between the towns of Preston and Legend that this little tiny little place will be developed into a little park. That was one of the letters, and one of the other letters was just a rough outline of what it was.
Yeah.
And basically, like I said, we went in there, removed a lot of the invasives, cleared it, planted native plants in there.
Mhm.
There's a signage down there, there's a bench,
Great.
and that kind of explains what that little park is down there.
Trying to think what's the man's name, Quentin. Isn't that the man that,
I
Quentin,
can't think of it right now.
remember Quentin?
No, no.
Oh.
Haas? HAAS?
Well, Bill Haas had something else named in his.
No, it's under, it is a memorial to Bill Haas. It's on the
Okay,
sign.
but what about Quentin? Is there something, Quentin, I can't think of his last name?
I don't think that's on the sign at Pocatonic, though.
Okay. Quentin, he lived on Tanninger or in that area, and he was involved in something. Okay, never mind.
Anything else? We have a motion for adjournment.
All in favor?
All in favor? Aye.
Wait, who made the
Aye.
You did.
I need a person. Did you make the motion?
I seconded it.
Who made the motion?
I made the motion.
Oh,
Mike
thank
did.
you. You're not a voting member.
No, Mike did.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, right, I know.
I thought you said I did.
No, Mike did.
Thank you.
Okay, good night.
Good night,
Hey.
See
Niall.
you guys.
Bye, guys. Have a good night.
8:05.
Thank you.
I'll return this off.
Also, if you see